Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily, part of the Fan Arch Podcast Network. This episode brought to you by Kalshi. Baseball season is here, and now you can trade every single game on Kalshi. Use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get started. All right, lots to get to here on a Thursday show. The Brewers dropped the second game of the series here against the Arizona Diamondbacks. We got to get into that. Setting up a rubber match today here, and also big transaction, big news here for the Brewers bullpen that we have to get into and we have to start with here. Angel Zerpa landing on the injured list with forearm tightness, and this is not good. Angel Zerpa, trade acquisition over the offseason from Kansas City. The Brewers sent away Isaac Collins and Nick Mears to get this guy. Had a great World Baseball Classic and comes into the season basically seemingly in leverage spots already. Earned some leverage opportunities early on. Looks really, really good. And then his last couple of outings, he really struggled. His ERA ballooned to over 6 over his past couple of outings. Did not really seem to look right out there. And in his last outing, William Contreras noticed that he wasn't looking right during that extra innings loss back on Saturday. And Contreras kind of looked over to Pat Murphy in the dugout. It's like, he ain't got it. Something's off, something's different here. So that's when they took out Zerpa, got him checked out, and it's not looking good. Pat Murphy telling us in the pregame on Wednesday that it is highly concerning, the injury there for Angel Zerpa, and that he doesn't think Zerpa is going to be back anytime soon. So they do not have an official diagnosis for Zerpa, with forearm tightness. That does lead to a lot of concern about elbow, Tommy John. Could that be the thing? They have not mentioned that. They do not have a diagnosis. They are getting testing done. They are getting imaging done. And they are going to figure out what exactly it is. But for the time being, since it is that forearm tightness, that area of concern, it is going to be a while before we see Zerpa back on the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers. It's a big blow to this bullpen. They were expecting Zerpa to be a big piece back there, a high leverage pitcher, a high leverage lefty. The Brewers have lost their 2 leverage left-handed relievers. Jared Koenig has been on the IL for a couple of weeks now, also dealing with an elbow sprain, and now Angel Zerpa on the IL. So those are your 2 leverage guys for that group, and they're out of the mix. They're going to be out for quite a while. Jared Koenig just now starting a throwing program, so he's still not going to be back anytime soon necessarily. Rob Zastryzny, another left-hander. Not necessarily a leverage left-hander, but still another left-hander on the IL for that bullpen. So that puts them in a very tough spot. Pat Murphy seemed very concerned here with Zerpa. It's a tough blow to this group, but they've dealt with a number of them already here early on. You hate it for Zerpa. You hate it for the group. But yes, a lot of concern there with him, what that injury could be. Again, they don't know. They don't have a timeline for us just yet. But hopefully that will be coming soon. And we can kind of see what this plan of action here is for one of the Brewers' big offseason additions, especially considering when you look at their offseason additions, there weren't a ton of them that could qualify as big, but Zerpa is certainly one of them with what they were expecting him to be throughout the season this year. But with Zerpa going on the IL, that means someone else has to come up into his place, and the Brewers chose Brian Fitzpatrick to come up and make his Major League debut. I absolutely love this choice. I'm excited for this kid. I've been all over him. I think he's a really, really good pitcher. Had a great season to start here in AAA Nashville. A pristine 0.00 ERA for the Nashville Sounds in 10 outings to start the season. 25 years old. He was a 10th round pick out of Rutgers back in 2022. The Brewers signed him. He was a senior sign. $100,000 bonus, well under slot there to kind of save some money for some later picks. But he's had a pretty quick rise here throughout the system. Last year, pitched across 3 levels: high A, double A, made it up to triple A. Had the most success in double A Didn't really pitch all that well once he got to AAA. But this year, obviously, different story. He's looked much improved. Looks a lot sharper. He has improved his command. He's improved his sinker a little bit as well. So being able to improve his fastball. So that is good. And he's having that success. And he has earned this opportunity here at the major league level, which I'm very excited for. He was number 40 on my top 50 prospects list coming into the season over at brewcrewball.com. So that's where you can read that story, that whole list. I've got the write-ups on all 50 of those guys there. So you can check that out. But Brian Fitzpatrick, he's been on my radar here, and I'm very excited for him to get this opportunity with that need for another lefty in that Brewers bullpen. I mean, some may look at Craig Yoho, why not him, or Easton McGee, why not him? Those guys are right-handed. The Brewers wanted another left-hander to replace Zerpa there, so the choice is Fitzpatrick here. And he fits in with the group certainly at 6'7". I mean, you look at this pitching staff. Mizrowski 6'7", Trevor McGill 6'8", Jared Koenig, even though he's hurt, he's 6'6". Tall group. So put Fitzpatrick in there amongst the trees, and it is going to be great. But Fitzpatrick, 5-pitch mix. He's got 3 different fastballs. He's got 4-seam, 2-seam cutter. Has a changeup that's really, really good. That's his best secondary offering. Also throws a sweeper in there as well. And he gets a chance too to make his major league debut, which he did on Wednesday night against the Diamondbacks. 1 1/3 innings, scoreless, because of course it was for him. So you absolutely love to see that. I love major league debuts. There's such beautiful moments for the player, for their families, for all those guys who have helped them along the way. It is so special. It is so cool. And he was able to have that moment and have a great debut. I mean, some guys have terrible debuts. I remember Aaron Ashby gave up, 7 runs in less than an inning, and it was bad, even though the Brewers ended up winning that game. But still, to be able to perform like that and to face some big-time hitters, to face Corbin Carroll, to face Adrian Del Castillo, to face a Nolan Arenado, like to face these types of guys in your debut and to be able to have that success, that's awesome. That is huge. For him, we were able to talk to him, before and after. Really great dude. Great quotes, too. I mean, great at telling the stories, giving answers. He was telling the story about how Rick Sweet, the Brewers manager of the AAA Sounds, how he broke the news to him that he was going to the major league. So he was down there in the clubhouse, about an hour before the game that they were supposed to have on Tuesday night down in Nashville, and the pitching coach, Tyler Thornburg, Brewers legend, he taps him on the shoulder and says, "Hey, Rick Sweet wants to see you in his office." And he's like, "Oh no, this could be either really good or really bad." So he kind of, finishes getting dressed and kind of slowly, makes his way over there. And Rick Sweet's like, "What took you so long? Like, what took you so long to get in here? You're going up to the big leagues. I thought you'd be rushing in here a whole lot faster." So just kind of lays on him like that. I mean, it's so cool. Then obviously you got the phone calls, get everyone flying in, coming in, everything, and get all settled. So really great stuff. Love to see him out there on the mound. Yeah, he was able to see his whole family. He told us after the game that when the bullpen doors open and he comes in, he's like, "I felt like I was floating, running in there," which is just. It's so cool. Like, it just seems like such a perfect description. When you're making your major league debut and you're just running like across the outfield grass to make it to the mound. I mean, just floating across. He heard his family from all the way out there. He heard them screaming when he was coming in to make his debut. He's like, "They're pretty loud. You can hear them pretty easily." But he was able to soak it all in, take in the moment, see his family afterwards. You love to see it. And you love for him to have that success in his debut, even though the Brewers lost. It was such a great moment. And with Zerpa out for so long, I think we could be seeing a lot of Brian Fitzpatrick, provided he continues to pitch well. If you continue to not give up earned runs, you're going to stay around a while. But with Zerpa being out for such a long time and Koenig still being out for a long time, this could be a pretty long stint for Brian Fitzpatrick in the major leagues. So I'm very excited for him and to see what he can do for this group. So That's going to be something to monitor here as the season goes along. And, with baseball season being here and now, you can trade every game on Kalshi. So I'm looking at this. We got the rubber match coming up here on Thursday here against the Diamondbacks. And on the mound for the Diamondbacks is Michael Seroka. And Michael Seroka this year has a 7.20 ERA in the first inning. So that's a pretty high first inning ERA. And on Kalshi, you can trade on if there will be a run in the first inning. That is currently trading at 45%. If you put in, that means a $100 trade will pay out $210 if there is a run in the first inning. So again, a 7.20 ERA for Michael Seroka in the first inning this season. He has made 5 starts. He has allowed 4 earned runs in the first inning. That is the most of any inning that he has this year. So if there's an inning to be had, that is certainly one to be looking at. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10. KALSHI, Kalshi, trade on anything. All right. I noticed another point of consternation here amongst the fan base with the game on Wednesday night. Garrett Mitchell not being in the lineup. Mitchell coming through with the bases loaded the night before, having a really strong start to the season here. The fans wanting to see more and more of Garrett Mitchell. He's healthy. He is one of your better players. He has come up big in so many moments, one of your RBI leaders. Why not have him out there every single day? And I do get it. I do understand why fans want Mitchell out there as much as possible. Because, we've been talking about, we have seen the promise from this kid for 5+ years now. And he's had all these injuries. We haven't gotten fully a chance to see him. And he's there. You got to play him every single day. Get him as many at-bats as possible. Help him improve as fast as possible. And I get it. But there is some other things to be at play here, too, for the Brewers. And Pat Murphy did talk about this in the pregame. He brought this up. And I thought it was actually a really good point. It is reasonable logic here because against the lefty Eduardo Rodriguez, Pat Murphy took Mitchell out of the lineup. He took Sal Frelick out of the lineup. He took a lot of his lefties out there. And Pat Murphy, he said this on that subject. I could have played them all tonight. I mentioned the Mitchell thing to you guys before. When he hasn't played, he's a type 1 diabetic. He hasn't played this much in a while. Just want to be really mindful. So if you could pick a game to give him a break, you do. Not that he'll be out the whole game, but that changes the kind of effectiveness sometimes. Maybe the other guys get a chance because this will be a more effective time to do it. Maybe it's only half a game or whatever. So this is something that Pat Murphy and the Brewers do really have to be mindful of because we all want to see Mitchell play every single day because he is one of the team's best players. But you have seen over the past 4 or 5 years that he does have a tendency to get injured a lot. And him being a type 1 diabetic does play a factor in that. In terms of how he has to manage, his body, how his body responds to injuries, manages what he intakes, what he outputs, like all of that he has been managing since he was a kid, and he does a really good job at it, but still, you do have to manage it. And it does mean, when you do get injured, the recovery time is slower than it is for non-diabetics. So that is something that the Brewers are also trying to actively manage and monitor here and give him those breaks every now and then. So I do understand it. I understand where Pat Murphy and the Brewers are coming from. I understand where the fans are coming from. And really, for me, I think it's just so much more important to have him be available, right? Rather than just running him into the ground just because, oh, he's healthy, just put him out there every single day and not worry about it. There is something to worry about on the side there in terms of managing him, making sure his body stays healthy and available. Because the best ability is availability. He hasn't had that over the past several years. So the way I would probably compare it is to what they've done with Brandon Woodruff here, where you kind of maybe have him play a little bit less just to ensure that they're available a little bit more later on. Because we've seen with Brandon Woodruff where it's like, hey, he could have gone out for that 6th inning. He could have gone out for that 7th inning. Why didn't you let him go? Why did you cut him a little bit short there? It's like, it is about making sure that Woodruff is available in August, September, October for this team. It's not about him having the extra inning or the extra game in the month of April or the month of May. That's not as important to him. Having him available in September and October is what's important. And that's why maybe he'll go 1 inning less in April and May, because they just need to manage that workload. I think the same kind of thing is going to be applying here to Garrett Mitchell. Brandon Woodruff, injury history. Garrett Mitchell, injury history. So if you have to take them out for a few more innings, have Mitchell play just a smaller amount of innings, have him sit for the first half of the game when there's a lefty on the mound, just to only bring him in. I mean, they brought him in like the 5th inning. I mean, once Eduardo Rodriguez was out of the game, Pat Murphy instantly brought in Garrett Mitchell, Sal Frelick to get this lineup, try and get this lineup moving. So that doesn't bother me. I think the Brewers are trying to play it the right way with all the information that they have, the history they have with Mitchell. This is the way that they have decided to go about making sure that he is healthy and available for the long run throughout the whole season. So that is what I think is most important here, and that's why Mitchell was out of the lineup on Wednesday night. All right, finally here, just kind of talking about the game coming up ahead today. Rubber match against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Big Woo. Speaking of Brandon Woodruff, Big Woo, Brandon Woodruff will be on the mound in this game. And you got Michael Seroka again on the mound for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Seroka, he has those struggles in the first inning, but overall on the season, he has been really, really good. A 2.60 ERA and a 4-0 record in 5 starts. So that is going to make it tough, but you got Brandon Woodruff out there for the Brewers. 2-1, 3.77 ERA, 23 strikeouts. So Woodruff got a matinee here, 12:40 first pitch for this game. And the Brewers are going to be trying to take the series, trying to win their 6th series of the season. Going to be very important for them to be able to do that. And trying, again, keep pace in this National League, because everyone in this division is above 500, so they're going to be needing that. And Michael Seroka is a righty, so I would imagine that we're going to see Garrett Mitchell, Sal Frelick, and all those lefties back in the lineup here today. So very excited for that. And we'll be breaking it all down again on Friday as Brewers Daily continues, as we continue to break down every single game as we go throughout the season. So be sure to subscribe to Brewers Daily, get notified every single time a new episode drops. Follow me on Twitter at dgasper24. Got tons of great content going up on there from inside the clubhouse, talking with Pat Murphy as well. And appreciate you watching and enjoying, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.